And welcome to Illini Drive here on WPGU 1071. It is Monday, February the 12th, 2018, 6:02 local time. As we're ready for some Monday Illini talk here with the usuals, Will Gerard, Tommy Polson, Jake Hassan, but we've got two special guests in the studio. Daily Illini assistant editors, Gavin Good and Tatiana Perry are here. Tatiana sitting back there, going to give us some opinions on Illini basketball. Gavin, here on a Monday, and let's just get right into it. A little Illini basketball talk. Boy, that was quite a second half, huh? What was that?
Do we have to talk about it?
We don't have to talk about it for very
I
long.
mean, it was not ideal. I mean, they didn't play well. It was just disgusting, gross basketball, and I really don't know what else to say about it besides that. I mean, it was just more of the same that we've seen all year.
Yeah, well, Penn State equaled their first half total of 37 points in the second 20 minutes. Illinois went from 36 points in the first half to 16 to lose to Penn State, 74-52. Their losing streak now extended to 3 games. They are now 12-14 and 2-11 in conference play.
Not great.
Didn't the Illini only score like 16 points in the second half?
Yep.
Literally just said that.
This is Gavin, by the way. But that's pathetic.
Yeah, they can see. That's Gavin, Tommy, Jake.
Yeah.
I'm Maury, by the way.
He's a real
You didn't know.
natural, Gavin is, when it comes to radio.
Real natural. Performance-wise, LaRon Black had 18 points, 6 rebounds. Kipper was able to score some with 12. Tijon had 10. Trent Frazier, slow
Trent
day.
had a bad night.
2 of 11.
Yeah.
2 of 6 from 3.
Which you kind of have to expect. I mean, he is still a freshman. It's going to come every now and then, but he was not very. He just didn't look comfortable last night. The Penn State defense is all over him and Mark from the start. I mean, they just were never really had a shot.
Besides that, Penn State was just, while most other teams in the Big Ten were running on the floor backdoor cut plays, just bounce pass, easy layup, Penn State decided, you know what, let's take it up a level. Let's alley-oop it backdoor and get 5 dunks.
Penn State showed the Illini what a successful alley-oop play looks like.
We did one too, though.
We did.
Yeah, they did
had
one
one.
too.
They
Illinois
had one.
is averaging maybe 0.5 a game, I'd say. Like every
That's too high.
Definitely lower than that.
point
I think we've
3.
seen maybe, 2 or 3
I think
In
alley-oops
the past,
this
like
season.
3
I
games.
think we've maybe seen 1 to 2 successful ones, and maybe. Well, I take that back. We've only seen 2 that were successful as actual alley-oop dunks. We've seen a bunch that are attempted and they just turn into layups or missed shots. But
Yeah.
Or
The one-
turnovers.
The ones to Matits haven't turned out too great,
yeah,
but
man.
it's killing him backdoor. It's
sad.
just pretty crazy. The other thing is that
I'm doing it right now.
I am so sick of whatever play that is where they just pass it around the arc.
It's not a play. It's just pass the ball until something
I know,
hopefully
but
happens.
but it's always here's Ebo or LaRon or Finke. Here they put him in the corner of the paint. Someone runs around, give him a handoff, and then they don't have an open shot because 2 guys are already on Allstork or Frazier who are getting that handoff.
the elbow handoffs have to stop.
They
don't work.
They don't work. Allstork got a jumper
Most of the time
early.
they don't work.
See, sometimes they're really pretty and we get cool shots out of them, but that's 1 out of 5 times.
It was
Yeah.
effective early against
Yeah.
Penn
Yeah,
State.
Allstork got a
It
jumper on that play.
And I don't even think that's on Underwood. I think that's more or less just because there's nothing else that this team really can grasp right now with the guys we have out there.
Yeah. I mean, having an athletic big man definitely opens up the offense a little bit more.
It's either the LaRon baby jumper, Trent pull up, or
Pass
Marco
it around.
Stork goes for a missed layup, or
Chuck
Trent,
three.
or Trent drives. There's 4 plays that they run consistently.
And they rarely score on that play. So that's the one thing I needed to get out. But let's talk a little bit about the...
Gavin wanted to say something.
All right, what do you got, Kevin?
Well, I want to know what you guys think about the Finke effect without Finke last night. Did it even matter at all?
I think it
To start,
mattered.
they looked better because Ebo looked aggressive and confident in the beginning. But once he got into foul trouble and the rest of the big men he scored 12 points, really didn't show up though. I mean, it was a very quiet 12 points. I think that I don't know.
Let's not act like he's made a major impact during Big
Right,
Ten
and
season.
But
that's what I'm
let's
saying,
let's not act
Finke's-
like they don't need him.
I think he's nice in that he kind of forces them to spread the floor a little bit more because he can shoot. He's that threat from deep, and he's supposed to be our best shooter. But I mean, I don't know.
Doesn't shoot.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It definitely made a difference, but I don't know how much different that game would have been even with him. That Penn State team was much better than us.
Yeah, I definitely think Finke would have made a slight difference, but that second half, Penn State's always going to win that second half. But let's talk a little bit more about the future of Illini basketball. That's it. There's only 5 more games in the regular season. Indiana on Wednesday in Bloomington, and then hosting Nebraska on Sunday. Michigan State and East Lansing, hosting Purdue, and then at Rutgers. Gavin, how many wins do you expect in these last 5 games? Or how many do you think they need?
How many do we need? We need all of the wins.
All right.
We need all of them really bad.
How many?
None of them matter anymore.
How many do they get?
I'll give us one, and then I like us to win the first Big Ten tournament game because it'll probably be against
I
someone,
agree with that.
Who do they beat?
someone poor.
Who do they
We're
beat?
beating Rutgers.
Yeah,
Rutgers stinks.
I think it's Rutgers on the road.
You don't think Illinois is going to adjust from the Nebraska game?
Cole wants to
No.
know if he can come in.
Oh, we're live. I mean, he's.
Yeah, come in, Cole.
Oh.
I made an executive decision.
You made it. Oh,
I made
you're
an executive decision.
stepping over my authority here. This
This
is
is
a
quite
this is a
scene for the
unitary
viewers
system.
who are gonna watch this later.
Hi,
Oh,
Cole.
now Cole is here, so
Hey,
we've
how you
got
doing,
we've got the entire Daily Illini editing
there's
team
so many
on.
people here.
This
What
is
do you
a.
want?
I just came in to chat.
So, a lot of people now in here to chat in the radio station. Will, myself, Gavin, Tommy, Jake, Tati, and Cole. So everyone say
Speaking of the
hi to
mic,
the
Cole.
camera.
Speaking
Exactly.
of the mic, Cole.
As you're listening and watching Illini Drive here on WPGU 1071, brought to you by the Illinois Fighting Illini. For tickets and info, make sure to go to fightingillini.com or call 1-866-ILLINI-1. So, Gavin's saying 1 win against Rutgers. You don't think that Illinois is going to adjust? Because the Nebraska game was a buzzer beater. I think Illinois can beat Nebraska at home.
I think we could. I just don't think we will. I mean,
don't think
Nebraska
they
looks
will.
a lot better also since last time we played them. I mean, Nebraska could be a tournament team.
They could be. They're solidly on the bubble.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, they're a bubble team right now, I would say.
I would love to beat them and knock them out of it, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't see us. I see it as more of a game like yesterday, where maybe it won't be a 22-point game, but like I think they're more athletic than us, especially now they have the adjustment. They played us before.
Any chance the Michigan State or Purdue games can be close? Can be close.
Give me the Purdue one. Give me the Purdue game, just because Purdue stinks. And
I think-
Isaac Haas is.
No,
Wow.
There's
hot
no,
take.
I can't even say it. I can't even say it. They're gonna beat us by 40. Isaac Haas and Dakota, or no, what's the other big guy? Is it something Matthias? Matthias something?
and Edwards.
No.
Oh.
What's the other? The
Oh.
new one, the freshman.
I'm getting it for you.
It's something. Dakota Matthias is the guard. He's Matthias something else.
We really know our
Whatever his name
Boilermaker
is.
basketball.
But
All I know is that they're really big
They've
And
got-
we're
very
not gonna be able
good.
to stop them.
They've got 2 guys that are over 7'3". Like that's not gonna go well for us.
No, I don't think it's going to go too well. I think the Michigan State game has the potential of being closer than the first one. So you can look at stats.
Paul.
Jake Paul.
That's
Oh,
Not
Jake
a
Paul.
compliment.
But final
Matt Harms.
yes, Harms.
Matt Harms. Okay.
Oh,
Harms.
he does look like Jake
Yeah,
Paul.
Isaac Haas. We've got Ivan Drago and Jake Paul, and they're about to murder us.
Yeah, they're going to have good games, I would
This
suspect.
Jake Paul looking dude is 7'3", 250. Like, that's
Yeah.
shoots threes.
not too shabby.
So we'll
Yeah,
see.
Illinois is going to lose by 40 that game.
It'll be a tough loss. I think that'll be the biggest loss of the season.
They lose.
I think Michigan State.
They
No,
win. They
closer.
win 0 games.
Closer.
They win 0 games.
You don't think they can beat Rutgers again?
I think no, because I think the Rutgers is going to be the same thing as last year, where we feel good about it because it's Rutgers, and then they lose again.
The circumstances
Don't
around
you
this
dare
Rutgers
say
game
it's
are a
last
little
year.
different than last
Last
year's
year is
game.
extremely different in that if we win that game, we're more than likely in the tournament.
There was nothing to play for here, though, and they had
know.
something to play for last year, and they lost, and they played terribly.
Jake,
Tommy, that was rude.
All right.
I didn't appreciate that.
That was a little rude. So we're gonna move on.
I apologize.
We're,
Stop making fun of Rutgers. No, make fun of Rutgers.
oh, okay. Let's move on to the second sort of part of this basketball segment. We'll start off with Gavin here. So, football had a lot of transfers. What about basketball?
Okay.
I know a lot of people are
Tati,
starting
you
to freak out a little bit with the team doing a lot worse than many people thought we would. But I don't know. I really see Brad Underwood as having this locker room more together, despite he's talked about them not having a winning mentality and a culture of winning established yet. But I think that with the potential exception of Tijon Lucas, I really don't see anyone transferring on this team
I
this year.
agree. I think there's only one transfer. I think Lucas is gone.
This is pure speculation.
But
I
this
could
is-
see a
we
major
have no
roster
sources.
overhaul over
Yeah.
the offseason.
We have no sources. We don't know.
Just
We're
based
just
on the
big
current
specu-
climate.
Wait, what do you mean by major, Will? Like
in
who-
terms of putting a
so
lot of
like,
new faces.
I had
so
a-
like who would you see leaving then?
I mean, I'm not gonna just throw out random names. I mean, there are guys like Kipper who've been in the doghouse all season. I mean, there are other
I had
players
a-
that don't
I had a-
necessarily match up well in the Big Ten.
But don't you feel like those guys would be more inclined to like stay and prove themselves then, though, instead of just bail?
But it's it's not purely just their decision though.
I had a conversation with a friend last night. Total speculation, no insider knowledge on this whatsoever. But we just put the over/under was at 3.5 for players on the team that are gonna transfer out after.
I
this
just
season.
don't.
Say under.
I would say over.
I'm taking the under.
No, I'd say under. No, I'm taking the under.
Yeah, I could see 4 guys leaving.
I put under.
I need names. I need names, Will.
Yeah, Will. Will, you can't say like major roster overhaul and say over.
I mean,
over
just- I'm
3 guys
just-
are gonna leave, and then like
That press conference.
So like who do you? So like you
I mean,
have to have
Underwood
some
seemed
idea. of who
really
you would think.
disappointed in the team.
Okay, so let's say Kipper and Lucas. Like who are the other two? then?
I think
I don't
Kipper
think
Nichols
there's
has a
any chance-
place
Yeah,
on
I
this
don't think-
team
But
next
that's
year.
Will then.
I think Kipper's a starter for the next 2 years.
I agree.
I think
not
he's
even-
absolutely a starter next year, as of right now.
Well, we don't even know if Kipper's on his list.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Wait.
Will's.
Well, no, I'm not
He
even
just
saying he's
doesn't.
on
Will
both
doesn't
lists.
want to burn his sources, guys. He needs to go back to that locker room.
That's
you know,
fine.
He doesn't want to get doesn't want to get
that's-
on their bats.
that's
I
totally
still feel
fine.
comfortable speculating on who's
That's-
going to leave.
and
before
that's
they
okay.
transfer.
So who does Jill
That's fair.
Woverard say? I switched the first letter.
Is that what you did?
Wouldn't it be Gil?
I said Jill. I don't know.
Okay, I'd go with Gil.
Yeah.
But
Let's go.
I personally think that in this type of system, and to be fair, Illinois, yes, they're having a worse season record-wise, but they've been in games. They've had some moments where they've looked like they could be one of the top 5 teams in the Big Ten, and Underwood doesn't play 5 starters for 30 minutes every night. He constantly changes players. He's constantly changing rotation. I mean, people are saying Tijon Lucas might transfer. We really don't know. Obviously, you would think maybe he would because you've got Desunmu coming in, maybe another guard, but even Lucas might not leave because Underwood finds places in his team for his players. And I think every single person...
But these aren't the players he recruited to Illinois.
True, but I think this is different than the Lovie Smith situation in football because John Gross was a better recruiter than Tim Beckman.
John Gross was a good recruiter. Like, there's no
Yes.
denying that.
And he recruited players that can compete at the Big Ten level who are still on this team. Kipper Nichols can be one of the best small forwards in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
If he's playing every night, if he's starting. Greggy Boyd.
There's a lot of question marks.
Yeah. You've got a lot of guys on the team who Underwood will find a place for them. That's the kind of coach he
I
is.
think that if there's one team to like be on, if you're a point guard with a lot of guards that are competing, it's Illinois, just because of how many guards Underwood uses. Like, if you're good enough, if you're making the right decisions, you're gonna find a spot.
I mean, we've seen instances of Tijon and Trent
Yeah,
together on
Tijon
the
and
floor who are
Trent
both
have
really
played
small
really
players,
well
and they
together,
play
yeah.
well off one another.
If we're giving Underwood 2 more years to like really turn this
Why are we
program,
No,
What?
no, Cole. I don't. Stop it. We can't talk about that yet.
what?
We can't talk about firing Underwood already.
No, absolutely not.
You didn't let
Absolutely
him
not.
finish
That's
his
what-
sentence.
what you were saying.
Tommy, he was halfway through his sentence.
Yeah,
and
oh
started
my
saying,
God,
"Cole,
no."
Cole, I'm sorry.
I am not one of those people. How dare
You
you?
worked 2 to 3 years and you get one immediate.
No, I'm saying.
Because Stephen Cohn. He's saying it earlier.
Why are you pointing at me?
Just yelling at people
I'm
now.
not saying-
No,
I'm
all
saying
I'm
in
saying,
general, like-
I'm saying, it's very much like the Lovie Smith scenario when he was hired. You're saying 3 years minimum until you actually want to see results from Illinois football.
For Lovey, it's
That-
more.
No, that's what I'm saying. When before the season, I didn't think it was going to be this bad, but I don't think it's Underwood's fault that it's this bad this year.
You were one of the first people to say that it's not going to be as good as we all thought.
Yeah. No, and it's worse than I thought. But all I'm trying to say is on this current roster, there are 1.5 major impact players on that team 2 years down the road. And it's Kipper and then Trent, but Trent's going to be playing like second fiddle to Io.
But there's other...
Plus, I still think there's a very good chance that we land at least one more guard.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a top 50.
Plus, there are guys on that roster that can turn into impact players down the road. If Greggy Boygbadin learns how to, stay strong in the post, have moves on offense, he can be a very effective center. Laron Black, if he learns how to improve his rebounding.
There's not
ability.
much
He
time
can
for
be
LaRon
so- No,
Ball.
but he.
Yeah.
I know, but he'll be great.
Have we hit
Mark
the panic?
Smith.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have we hit the panic button on Mark Smith?
I don't
yet?
think we should.
Underwood still thinks he's going to be a 1,000-point scorer by the time his career is over.
I would agree.
And I think I agree with Underwood. He's just got to figure it out. He's got.
Yeah.
He hasn't even been playing basketball
right now-
as long as everyone else.
And
has.
Mark Smith is primed for the 6-man role. Who knows? He might not. Io might not walk into the starting lineup. We assume he will because he's a 5-star recruit. But
He's already, if he was on this team right now, he would already be probably our best guard. I think.
not the way Trent's been playing.
I think that I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think that the way that I've seen him, just like with other, the way he
It could
plays his
happen.
game.
Yeah.
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be that little adjustment period next year where he's just kind of getting ready with the pace, just like it was with Trent and T-John. At the beginning of this year, T-John was the main point guard, but then Trent took over. It's going to be very similar with that with Io next year. I think it'll be shorter.
I think it's going to be that little skid
by
like once
Yeah.
the Big Ten starts,
Yeah.
and then
He's going to be a
adjustment
little
period.
rusty at the beginning, but then he's obviously going to be the guy.
It's going to be the little adjustment period.
Yeah.
Well, I think
So
that
much going on in here right now.
yeah, I think that's a good segue to take it to our first break. And when we come back, we'll talk with Gavin about Illini baseball because they start this weekend. Baseball's back.
All baseball starts. Let's
Pitchers and
go.
catchers met.
Darvish.
Yu Darvish is on the Cubs.
Darvish.
Risky deal.
We'll have that and final thoughts later on as we return to Illini Drive right here on WPGU 107.1.
You're watching Illini Drive on Urbana Public Television. Tune in Monday nights at 6 p.m. to listen live on WPGU 107.1.
And welcome back to Illini Drive here on WPGU 107.1. Ori returning with Will, Gavin, Tommy, Jake, Cole, and Tati here, adding some stuff too. Yep. Well, you're here. Okay. Let's talk.
Like a UFC intro. Tati Perry.
Yeah.
I need a full announcement.
I'd take some PA announcing. That'd be a
What's your
fun
walk-up
gig.
music, Tati, if you were?
You gotta
It's
get
like-
the mic.
Yeah,
It's
let's.
like the most thuggy song you know. Like
Yes, Gavin. He'd know. Gavin will definitely give you a couple.
number one gangster rap song you know, cause like
Oh.
Gavin's eyes just lit up.
Shoot.
I just.
Shoot!
That's not my place to say. It's your choice, Tati.
I needed to like hype me up,
If
and then
we're
I walk
going-
out. It's real disappointing. That's my walk-up song.
If we're going 2017, 2018.
If you
could
say
go
any-
some of that new G Herbo. Well,
Yes.
that's from 2017.
Anything G Herbo has done.
All right,
last.
well-
Okay, sports.
I don't know nothing about G Herbo, but let's.
Yeah, you don't know how to say his name.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dad.
That was good. Okay. Let's talk a little Illini baseball. So softball started their season this past weekend. They went 1-4 actually.
Nice.
Won their opening game against Providence, and then they lost 4 consecutive in Winter Springs, Florida. They're back in action.
Who'd they play against?
They played North Florida, South Bama, Central Florida, and Louisville.
So those are teams that have probably been outside. And done
They're
stuff
not bad.
already.
So softball returns this weekend. They're going to Chapel Hill to play Pitt and North Carolina twice, Friday and Saturday. Illini baseball begins their season this weekend.
Beaumont.
They're in Beaumont, Texas. They're playing the Lamar Cardinals on Friday, Texas Southern on Saturday, and Missouri State on Sunday. You just talked to head coach Dan Hartlib. What's the feeling around Illini baseball this year, Gavin?
To me, it seems like the feeling around Illini baseball this year is they seem like they're determined to kind of put themselves back in that conversation where the program is considered to be in the upper area of the Big Ten. Some of their goals, like they obviously are trying to get to the NCAA tournament, but they're really expecting to get to the Big Ten tournament this year, which means that they'd have to improve considerably from last year. What was their
didn't miss
record
by
last
They
year?
were 23 and
23,
28
yeah.
last year. 9-15 in conference, 11-11 at Illinois Field, 10-14 on the road.
Yeah, they only missed the Big Ten tournament by a couple games last year. Like they end up almost sneaking in at the end, but I don't know. They were really young last year. Like they should be pretty good this year.
Yeah, and you talked to him a little bit
Yeah.
about the lineup. He told you a little bit about that.
They're returning 83% of their wins in pitching, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's almost a straight-up starting lineup set as of Friday when I talked to Hartlib.
Pretty much. I
Yeah,
mean, who are
do you want to hear it?
who are the main guys that are going to be hitting and pitching for the most part?
Well, you're definitely
Playing
looking
baseball,
at
folks.
you're definitely going to look at Yalowitz up there in the lineup, and Massey's probably going to be up there too. Doran Turchin might be up there too.
Probably Troike.
Troike could be in the middle of the
Troike
lineup.
hit really well last year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They combined, like I remember last year, Troike and Massey combined for, I think it was the second most double plays in all of the NCAA last year, like in terms of in the field.
I remember reading something about that too.
Wow.
The real questions for this team, like position-wise, is who's going to play at first, replacing
Pat McInerney.
Yeah, Pat McInerney, who went to the league. And
Is he the only like noticeable departure from last year?
honestly, pretty much.
For the most part. I mean,
I mean, he's the guy who was in the
Like,
starting
they
lineup for a while.
they were a
They
young
started
team, and
6 freshmen last year.
he's the only guy who like actually had a major impact. But the real questions are at catcher, first and third, which is Hartleb said if he had to name a starter on Friday, it'd be this transfer, Jeff Corday, who came in from Eastern Florida State College. He could split time with David Cron and
Skonieczny.
Yeah, I can't say that name. Skonieczny.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to practice that.
You've got a season to
it
figure
takes
it
a little bit
out.
of time. Yeah, I had a whole season to figure that out. So
Yeah, I'm
you'll
still
get
new
there.
on this beat, so
Yeah.
I get what? Maybe another week grace period for that?
Yeah, yeah.
Then I gotta have the pronunciation down.
do you think Illini baseball makes the Big Ten tournament?
Well, it's really early. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Of course. They're
Months
0
from now,
and 0.
they're about to go to Texas. They're 0-0. But if I had a gun to my head, I'd say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll believe in the Illini this time.
Well, a couple of interesting games on the schedule for the Illini. So they're in Texas this weekend. Next weekend, they're going to Conway, South Carolina, playing Coastal Carolina twice, who won the national championship 2 years ago. They're also playing VCU in West Virginia. Then a fun little trip to Minneapolis to play some baseball
so fun,
where
right?
Super Bowl 52 was at the U.S. Bank Stadium, playing 3 Pac-12 teams in UCLA, Arizona, and Washington. And then Big Ten play starts to kick into high gear. They've already got all the promotions out. They're going to have a big homestand from April 10th to April 24th. And then they're going to close the season at home against Nebraska in a 3-game series, and then off to Omaha for the Big Ten tournament, which is also the site of the College World Series. I mean,
They're doing the Big Ten tournament in Omaha.
yeah, they're doing it at the same site as College World Series.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, other than Big Ten, I mean, they can make the Big Ten tournament, but realistically, how far can they get in the Big Ten tournament? Because it seems like they're a little bit younger.
Wow.
Maybe not championship ready for the most part, but maybe quarterfinal, top 8, top 6 team in the Big Ten, I would say.
I think they're capable of definitely landing in that top 6 to 8 range. I don't think this is a team. Like I said, we haven't seen much yet. Like, we haven't seen anything yet. They've
What
just
stood out to you about this team so far? I mean, in terms of what you've heard from coach, and I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. You've been around the team a few times now, right?
what stands out to me so far is that they seem like a team that feels like Tommy covered them last year. They seem like a team that feels more experienced and more like they know what they're getting themselves into, and they
Yeah.
know like the grind of the season and what it takes.
I mean, this
day
is
in
kind of
and day
where
out.
college baseball is really interesting, where it's like, even if you do get almost a loaded recruiting class every year, because I mean, Illinois typically, Hartleb does a pretty good job with recruiting, but even with like top recruiting classes, it's almost like a cycle where like every 3 to 4 years, you'll kind of see them reset. Once you get your kind of freshman group that kind of grows up, they get their 3 years of experience behind other guys. Like the 15 team, like they were pretty bad in 2012, 2013.
Yeah, and then they won 27
go
games
on
in a
and
row.
win 27
Yeah.
games in a row, make like, you know, I mean, it's kind of crazy how cyclical baseball is in that,
Yeah.
especially for college.
And and speaking of college baseball, in terms of the differences between professional, college baseball to me seems like more of a game. It's not dependent on the long ball. You don't need to have 2 guys in your lineup that can hit 25, 30 home runs.
Yeah.
Jack Yalowitz can hit 360, 370 for the season. That's what you need. You need guys who can get on base. You need average.
Small ball.
And also fielding is so much more crucial because, again, any level, the lower you go in baseball in terms of level of play, the worse the fielding gets. And it's a big difference between major league and even college when it comes to fielding.
Yeah.
Major league players, Jake can attest to this, they don't even care about fielding because they're just so good at it. People are catching fly balls like, it's just coming up in the air. Meanwhile, in college and the high school level, you're seeing between 5 and 7 errors a game on average for most divisions in college and for most divisions in high school. So fielding makes a big difference. And Jack Yalowitz is also a pretty solid outfielder for the most part.
He's somebody that could be like a Big Ten Player of the Year. Like I used to play with Jack in high school. Always has been like a very solid. He used to even be a pitcher actually when he initially came here. But it's insane how hard he's worked and where he's gotten to, and just his 3 short years here because, I mean, he is a legitimate contender for Big Ten Player of the Year this year.
Yeah, it was preseason All Big Ten,
Yeah.
which means he's definitely up there. He's sort of the main man of this team under.
Troike and Massey should be real good. Schilling should have a better year. He had a big summer.
What about pitching-wise? I mean, I'm looking at some of the pitchers here.
Schilling.
Ty Weber can be pretty decent. Luke Schilling obviously is going to have a bigger role as a starter. Watson.
Cirillo's coming back too.
Cirillo, Watson.
Cirillo's
yeah.
good. Weber was a really big surprise last year. He kind of came out of nowhere, but he was honestly almost one of their best starters last year.
He probably was their best starter
Yeah,
last year.
he's the big, consistent guy. He throws strikes.
He can throw
Puts-
long, too.
Right, yeah. He's a workhorse, and he's going to have to be that same way again this year, honestly.
He's
but
probably their top starter.
I'd say so. He's probably their game one
I
guy.
would agree with that.
Yeah, as a sophomore.
Schilling, I don't know if they want to use him more as a starter or if they want to use him as that closer, hard relief type.
I think he's probably going to be more on the starter track.
Did they say that? Yeah.
Interesting.
He kind of started like that last year. He's had some command issues, but it looks as if he had a lot better of a summer, and he might be kind of ready more for that big-time role this year. So
So make sure to check out a little Illini baseball. Start the season on Friday against Lamar in Beaumont, Texas. And before we go to break, let's do a little quick Major League talk. Yu Darvish is on the Cubs.
let's
And-
go.
How good are the
Let's
Cubs now?
Go.
I mean, I said this a couple weeks ago. Once the Cubs sign Darvish or someone else, they're immediately the top in the NL Central. Again, they might even be the second best team in the NL. I mean,
It's pretty cool when the
Dodgers.
Brewers were the best team for what, like 2 weeks there.
Huh?
It's pretty cool when the Brewers were like the best team
They had
for
a
like
nice
2
run.
weeks, maybe.
They still weren't.
3
You
weeks?
guys are insane.
No, I think for the time being, but
I looked back at this. They really never were. They never were. There was never a chance.
yeah.
The Brewers' rotation stinks.
It's not that great.
Yes, how are they?
it's not that bad either.
Yeah.
It's not
I
great.
think the Cubs' rotation was already better before they got Darvish.
Well, yeah, because they had
Yeah.
Quintana and Hendricks.
better.
I don't know. I think that front to bottom their lineup is nothing special outside of their outfield.
I kind of hate. I don't hate it. The length of the deal kind of is like 6 years for you, Darvish, on the wrong side of 31.
I mean-
who's had injury history. It's
I-
If
kinda-
they get 4 good years out of it, I'm fine. with it.
I personally am not a
Those
huge.
wiffle balls, like, the guy's insane.
True, but I don't like the contract all that much. I mean, it's okay, but
for a guy
you-
who's thrown 2,000 innings in his professional career, it's.
but you
it's
never,
dicey.
but you never know what you get out of him in the postseason.
I'm very okay with the contract considering we are only paying him $5 million more than we paid John Lackey yearly, and John Lackey stunk so much. John Lackey was
You
the
didn't think John Lackey was going to stink that bad though.
well, I don't know. I guess not, but he's also got a much better recent history than Lackey did when we signed him. Lackey wasn't that great the year.
It was
we
hard to
signed
believe
him.
that Lackey had much left in the tank. I mean, he provided
Yeah,
veteran presence for a
Lackey
couple
wasn't
years.
even throwing 90 miles an hour by the time we signed him.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think I like it.
he didn't make much of an
I
impact.
mean,
with them.
Darvish kind of had a not great. He didn't have a good year even last year. I mean, he had ups and downs. He had a little bit of a nice stretch when he first got to the Dodgers, but
I think he'll be much better in the NL, and I don't know. I think that kind of being healthy going into the season makes a big difference.
He's
too.
still got unreal stuff.
Yeah. Like I said,
Yeah.
the guy literally throws.
His-
also the year
stuff
the
is
Cubs signed
great.
Lackey, he was coming off a 2.7 ERA
I don't think
and
he
33
played
games.
did he?
33 games started.
Really?
Yeah.
that is a full season.
Whatever. I'm okay with it still. I like the contract.
I think it's going to be
not
good for the
bad.
first 2-3 years of it, but just the back end is going to stink for the. I mean,
I
it's going to be like
agree.
what happened to Lackey. He's going to fall off a cliff, I think.
Not Lackey level cliff, but
Yeah,
he'll fall
he's
off.
He's just got much better like projectable stuff than Lackey. I mean, he doesn't have like a very, I don't know what. He has a pretty natural throwing motion. Everything he releases comes from that same angle. Like he's not overexerting himself to the point where he's gonna injure his elbow. Anything super serious like that I could see. And I mean, he throws 6 pitches that all have nasty movement. It's not like he relies on like a hard fastball.
Yeah,
It's
that-
like Lackey was always a power pitcher. I think that Darvish
Yeah.
will get away with it.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Because I mean, Darvish throws a lot of those nasty curveballs. He can get away with
His
that
slider
for
is the nastiest pitch I've ever seen.
till he's like 36 or 37. So we'll see what happens when Yu Darvish goes to the Cubs. As honestly, I'm really excited for baseball.
I have one more thing to say.
Sure.
It's crazy that John Lester signed 3 years ago. John Lester
Yeah,
signed 3
3 years
years
ago.
ago.
Signed the first.
Yeah,
4
one.
years ago.
2015 was his
This
first.
will be 4th with the Cubs.
Yeah, so 3
Yeah.
years ago, John Lester was signed, and he's still making more than you, Darvish.
Wow.
Like no one would have ever thought that 3 years ago when Lester signed that he'd be making more than you, Darvish. Because we all thought the market would be at the point that Darvish would have gotten a $200 million deal.
Lester's also the way that at the time we got him, he was coming off of like multiple just insane playoff runs too. Like Lester had been like the number 1 guy in Boston.
But I'm saying that speaks more to like what the market is
Yeah.
this year because I mean it's still really really bad.
How much more is he making than Darvish?
Not
That's
much,
also
but it's
More.
It's a little chunk more, but
Gotcha.
So little chunks more of Cubs baseball talk and some big chunks of Illini baseball. Going to be a lot of baseball happening starting this weekend with
Free
college
agent
baseball.
training.
And we'll see what more free agent action happens. But when we come back, we'll give you a quick score update, what's happening in the sporting world, and we'll have our final thoughts when we return to Illini Drive right here on WPGU 107.1.
You're watching Illini Drive on Urbana Public Television. Tune in Monday nights at 6 p.m. to listen live on WPGU 107.1.
And welcome back to Illini Drive here on WPGU 107.1. Quick score update for you all on this Monday evening. The Chicago Bulls are playing tonight in
Turner stinks.
15
He's
minutes. Guys, let's save it for final thoughts.
ugly. I'm rattled. I'm
All
very
right,
sorry.
Don't get so rattled. It's okay. We're gonna calm down here with a little score update. The Bulls are hosting the Magic tonight. A battle of 18 and 19 win teams. Should be a fun game. 7 o'clock at the United Center. Chicago Blackhawks are in action at 8 o'clock over in Phoenix, taking on the Arizona Coyotes. And tonight on NBC, it is day 4 of the Winter Olympics. Chloe Kim looks to win the women's half-pipe gold. Also, Shaun White will be making his first appearance at the Pyeongchang Games. So we'll lead off our final thoughts. I want to talk a little bit about the Olympics. What do you guys think of them so far? I think they've been pretty fun to watch.
I haven't seen a ton of it yet. From what I've seen, it's been cool. I mean, I'm really excited for USA Russia on Saturday. I'm pumped.
The
Nice little
Olympic
6 a.m.
athletes
game.
of Russia, technically. The technicality. I'm just being annoying. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. U.S. women are playing this morning, too, early on. I think they're playing... they are playing Finland. Or no, they're playing the Olympic athletes of Russia, actually. The women's team is, and then the men are going to play later this week in the first full week of the games. But, man, U.S. snowboarding, really solid. Red Gerard, that was incredible. 17-year-old kid born in Cleveland, raised in Colorado. His parents having a good time at 8:30 in the morning, cheering him on. And then Jamie Anderson repeated. So U.S. snowboarding, man, tight. And then curling.
Tight, bro.
It is total.
he's shredding that half
He
pipe.
did shred.
brother.
1440. But I learned a new move.
Hang loose, dude.
Yeah, but there's apparently a move called a Dracula. There's a snowboarding move called a Dracula because if you don't get it right, you fall flat on your face and your whole nose is broken and bleeding. So
Wow, now that's gnarly.
that is pretty sick. But you know
Shocker,
what?
bro.
You know what's sick? Curling. Curling is pretty sick.
I'm all in on curling.
But the U.S. mixed team did not perform too hot. The Hamilton siblings did not do too well. But last night, though, U.S. figure skating balled. Adam Rippon did awesome. Nagasao, first triple axel for an American woman ever, and then the Shibutani siblings did really well in the ice dancing. So Olympics are fun. You should watch them. There's 2 full weeks of them. And let's move on to the next final thought. You guys want to talk more baseball? I want to hear this whole little debate that was happening off the air.
So,
Corey Seager is
I've just
better than
pulled up
Chris Bryant.
many numbers.
Oh my God.
I've just pulled up many numbers, my friends, and let me tell you, I'd love to dismiss this rumor that Chris Bryant is even in the same league as Corey Seager.
They're in the same league.
All right,
They're in the same league.
Mr. Hassan, sit back and listen while I drop these numbers on your face. All right. So, through 3 years in the league, they have both played 2015, 2016, and 2017, my friend.
I'm looking at the
All
same
right.
exact numbers as you.
Christopher Bryant. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You know how many home runs Christopher Bryant's had?
94.
He has. You know how many Mr. Corey Seager has had?
57.
52. Nice try.
That is 52? That is correct.
That's
I can't
52.
read.
So, how many RBIs has Mr. Seager had? 166. Chris Bryant, 274. Batting average, 288 for Chris Bryant. Corey Seager, 305. Good for him. 17 points
All right.
higher. The RBIs and batting average, or the RBIs, home runs alone, plus the fact that, all right, so 27.
Chris Bryant has played 124 more games than Corey
All right,
Seager.
well then how can you even say they're remotely on the same level because he hasn't even stayed healthy?
Because no, that was because Corey Seager didn't come up until the end of 2015. That's why.
Fine, I'll
It
give you
wasn't because
that.
he was injured. It's because he came up at the end of 2015. That
Fine.
alone. I'm saying objectively, going into 2018, from what we have seen, Corey Seager has shown all the makings of being as good. I'm not saying he has been. I'm saying he could be. And that
Okay, well-
and that's one of the. And I think
Tommy Chatwood could be as good as Jake Arrieta this year.
you don't even know his name. It's Tyler Chatwood.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. I could say that Jake Hassan could be as good as Jake Arrieta this year if he stops on the Cubs rotation.
The Jake Hassan or Jake?
Obviously,
Jake.
don't get me wrong. Like, I understand Seager's a very good player, and I'm not trying to discount that because he is a legit player, great player. But to say that, I think to say that even the Dodgers infield is even remotely close to as good as the Cubs or their Dodgers lineup is insane. I think.
I don't think that's crazy.
I think it is.
I don't think it is.
I think Justin Turner, Cody Bellinger, Corey Seager, and
All right, so I'm just looking at like NL MVP voting over the last 3 years. Okay.
I would even say that Bellinger is better than Rizzo.
No,
he
absolutely
could
not.
be. He is not yet. He could be.
He will be.
Down the road, sure. I mean, if we're talking if the Dodgers are going to be better in 4 years, sure, I'll give you that. But right now, no, absolutely not. Anthony Rizzo over the past like 5 seasons has consistently been a top 10 player in the league.
I think it's too soon to say Bellinger is better than Rizzo.
Bellinger's a better power hitter too. I also don't think he's overall a better hitter or player than. I think that down the road he could be.
Yeah.
He can
Again,
be.
that's a
He
lot
has
of
not, right.
speculation. Like that's
Right.
not.
I just think objectively looking at
I'm sick
what
of people
happened-
coming at the Crown. You're coming
The
at the
Dodgers
Kings. you
beat the
best not
Cubs
win.
4-1 in the championship
Last
series.
year, yes, but over the past
with a not completely
the
healthy
Cubs,
team.
the Cubs have been to the NLCS in 3 straight years. Before they won a World Series in 16. The Dodgers didn't even win the World Series. If you want to come at this team that has been dominant in the NL over the last 3 years, like give me some numbers to prove that they're better. I understand they beat them last year, sure, but like outside of that,
I mean, they took him to Game 7 the year
Yeah.
before too.
but they didn't win. And the Cubs finished the thing too. They won the World Series.
I just think, but you asked me who's better than the Cubs. I still think the Dodgers because the Dodgers.
I don't.
They have 2 top 50 prospects in Verdugo and Bueller.
I don't care about the prospects. Who's on the MLB team right now,
they're
Jake?
They're gonna be on the MLB team, and and Julio Urias was a top 3 prospect. He's gonna be coming back to this team.
All right, have you ever heard of my
Clayton
friends
Hey,
Javi Baez,
have you-
Addison Russell, Wilson
Javi
Contreras,
Baez is
Chris
not that great
Bryant?
of a player. I hate
Javi Baez is consistent. Javi Baez.
I hate all the love that Javi Baez gets because
He's a
he gets
consistent
hyped
2-8.
up so
No,
much.
he's electric. He makes things happen. He's a
electric.
playmaker.
But he has
Sure.
moments. He is not a consistent performer by any means. Addison Russell is again same thing. He's good on defense, very consistent on defense. Offensively, Addison Russell has spurts. He's not that great either.
I'm not saying he's an amazing hitter. He's a solid 250
I-
hitter that will
I-
hit
I think
RBIs,
the
get some
Cubs-
doubles and home runs.
The Cubs' most consistent best hitters are Bryant and Rizzo, and maybe
Contreras.
Wilson Contreras.
You
don't
could say
know-
Almora too.
You don't know that. But you okay? So you were telling me you don't know what if you don't know if Almora, handed the starting role, is going to be that great. Willie Contreras, he could have been good, but then he got hurt. So you don't know what he's going to be over a full season.
Albert Almora last year had 300 plate appearances, so roughly
300,
roughly 80 games, 90 games, 100 games
the,
almost.
the normal
saying,
player gets
right?
500, 600.
Okay, so he's probably played maybe 100, 120 games.
So what?
Hold on, just
but like,
answer me that. Yes, no.
Oh my god.
How many? If you're looking at how many games did he play?
I don't have that up. I'm just on
This is
the
like
quick.
this is like a
Google thing.
baseball first take here. in Champaign-Urbana.
Almora hit 298 last year over roughly 100 to 120 games, had 46 RBIs, 19 walks, 39 runs. He's already a Gold Glover caliber center fielder. Like what?
He wasn't a
The
regular
thing is, I'm
player, though.
saying-
What happens when
He
he
was a
plays
regular player.
regularly and then pitchers adapt to him when they start seeing him every day?
I mean, I don't think that you can argue that there hasn't been enough film and stuff for them to not adapt to Albert Almora. He's been up and down for 3 years.
Up and down, but this was his first extended MLB action.
He
They're
played
not-
a good amount.
MLB
he played
pitchers
a,
don't study film on guys who are up and down.
But I'm saying
think
you
just
can
now-
easily assume that he would have been playing in many of these games. Like it's not like they haven't seen Albert Almora. They haven't not seen Javi Baez. They haven't not seen Ian Happ now. They haven't not seen Kyle Schwarber. They've seen these guys.
Right, these guys are like
They've
good
made
in
their
moments,
adjustments.
But I still think the Dodgers are a better team.
I disagree very strongly.
I think for me, I think the one
I
reason,
really don't think I am.
I think the one reason the Dodgers are better than the Cubs, and I think it's Clayton Kershaw, who I think is
that
the
was my
most
next point.
the overall best player probably in Major League Baseball. The biggest difference maker is Clayton Kershaw. Because Mike Trout's the most talented, but he's not winning. Clayton Kershaw helps you get wins.
I mean, the Dodgers have arguably the 2 best pitchers in the entire league with Kershaw and Jansen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't argue that.
I
I'm
think
not.
Jansen's
I'm not
the
going to
best
argue.
closer.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Jensen's the
argue-
best
yeah.
relief pitcher far and away,
Right.
but I think he's got better
Is
stuff
he?
than most starters.
I think Betances might be better.
No.
No.
Kenley Jansen's better than Betances and Chapman.
Okay. I still overall I think that you can give them the edge in overall pitching considering Jansen and Kershaw. I think that I would take our starting 9 or our starting field, including the outfield, infield, catcher, over any's in the league.
You're starting 9, you're saying?
I guess starting 9 you would say, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, your batting order plus your pitcher.
Our lineup, I'd say.
Yeah,
Our lineup.
your lineup.
That.
I would. I think that
It's-
Willie is already a top 3 catcher.
I
I
think-
think
yeah.
he could make the leap to possibly be the best catcher in the league this year if he plays the full season.
I would say, yeah. I think it's between Willie and Gary
I think
Sanchez.
Rizzo is consistently a top 3 first baseman. Yeah.
Yeah.
He hits 300 every year, drives in
Yeah.
over 100 RBIs every year.
Chris Bryant
is a
is-
Gold Glover caliber first baseman.
Chris Bryant, best third baseman, probably.
probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think Addison Russell, you can make a case as a Gold Glove shortstop. And aside from that, at second base, we've got Javi and Ian Happ, who, in his experience in the league, has been an electric hitter, can fill any roles. Plus, you've still got Ben Zobrist on the roster. Then you look at the outfield. You've got Schwarber, who in a down year last year hit 31 home runs. You've got Albert Almora, who in his time has hit 300 average, has hit lefties on it like a 350 clip. He's been fantastic since he's been up. Is already, like I said, probably a Gold Glove caliber outfielder. Once he gets this, because this is going to be a full year, he's going to be our starting center fielder. Then you got Hayward, who is still a fantastic fielder. I want
Better
to
hitter.
believe that he's going to hit better than he has been. Even if he doesn't, you've still got Happ that's going to be playing a lot of right. And I mean, outside of that, I mean, that's our main 10, 11 guys. I don't know who you'd take better than that.
We'll have to.
I would honestly take Kiki Hernandez, Yasiel Puig, and Chris Taylor over Hayward.
You're bananas. You're
Over-
bananas.
Schwarber, I'll give you because just from the power aspect. Hayward is no better than Puig's better than
Puig is
Hayward.
I'll give you
better
Puig over Hayward. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Puig is
Yeah,
better
so
than Hayward.
Puig over Hayward.
I think you're
Schwarber
very-
over Hernandez.
I think you're very
I'd-
much undervaluing Almora.
I'd say Chris.
Plus, Happ
Chris
is
Taylor
very-
showed you what he could do last year.
Chris Taylor-
and
yeah,
I'd
Chris
say
Taylor-
Chris Taylor and Albert Amora on the same level. And Taylor has versatility to play the infield as well.
Yeah, but we've got Happ that can play the infield too.
Okay, but
So I'm just saying, like, it's going to be a rotation of those 4 guys. Like, you're not going to see Schwarber every day.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what kind of results we see once baseball season actually starts in April. So, last 5 minutes, let's hear Will's final thought. What do you got, Will?
You know what? I'm sold on the Cavs making the Eastern Conference Finals now after how they looked against the Celtics.
I agree. I think Eastern Conference Finals. Now, they
Rodney
look
Hood
good.
was a huge get.
Rodney Hood, Jordan
Clarkson's
Clarkson
good.
looked good against. Obviously, it's only
Nance
one
is
game.
yeah, I mean they're not going to play like that the rest of
No,
the way.
I don't think they will.
Hood's been playing that well all year.
Yeah, Hood's a lights out shooter.
I was
He's
talking about this to my
phenomenal.
roommates. I think LeBron likes a team where he can coach younger guys. Like I feel like I think with
I
the
could see
moves
that.
they made, I feel like it works well because he can kind of take on that leadership role. He's a guy who can really dominate the ball now, dish it out to a few shooters.
I mean, everyone they got, I think, was 25 or younger.
Yeah,
Right?
25 or younger.
it also makes me think there's a chance he might stay in Cleveland.
No.
But just
It's-
a
No, the Lakers are
real slight one.
Well, I still don't think there's any chance he goes to the Lakers. Why would he go to a team that's not going to be a championship contender?
I think now that IT's there, he's not. There's no chance.
and definitely no chance
He's
with
a
IT.
big-
Yeah,
IT's
IT's not going to
free
stay.
agent,
Is he?
He's gonna go. He's not going to stay for the Lakers.
Where do you think IT's going to go?
Why is it that they don't get
knows?
along? Like, where did that come from?
I don't know.
Because I think
Well, IT's somebody who needs the ball. In his
Yeah, I
hands.
think
Like
it's
he's
just the
not. He's
style
not
of
somebody
play.
who could spot up.
I mean, I understand
And
why
I-
IT went like LeBron after that booster
But
shit
he-
stunt he pulled because
yeah,
you guys
that
all
was
saw that, right?
hilarious.
'Cause that
Yeah,
was just
and,
disrespectful.
but also, like, Isaiah Thomas was coming out every press conference and trashing the team and trashing the team chemistry.
That-
Also, speaking of team chemistry, Kevin Love's going to come back just in time once they all hit their stride just to wreck everything.
Oh, I hope not. But yeah, I mean, Isaiah Thomas and LeBron James, they're both ball first kind of guys, but it seemed like they weren't willing to give up parts of their roles. Even though LeBron could, and if he did pass the ball more to Isaiah, he could average 13 assists a night. But we've seen people adapt to a system and gel. Look at James Harden and Chris Paul. The instant Chris Paul was signed by Houston, everyone said, "Oh, they're not going to share the ball enough."
Yeah, Chris
They're
Paul
gonna
was
be good."
also
They're like undefeated when
always
they play.
a gifted passer though.
Yeah,
like
but-
he always had that ability.
He's
Yeah.
always averaged 10 plus assists a game.
Right. IT was never that guy. IT was always a 30-plus scorer.
Yeah, and Paul and Harden are leading maybe the best chance for the best team that could beat the Warriors easily in a 7-game series.
It's going to be a really fun
gonna be a
Western
fun
Conference Finals.
Yeah, well,
I
if we're
really
guaranteeing
hope.
it.
I feel like, I don't think we can guarantee it. I think that
I think
Minnesota still has a shot.
Minnesota has a shot. San Antonio, you can never count out.
Minnesota is awesome.
Jimmy Butler's
I
playing
want Minnesota
so
to win it so bad.
And Karl Anthony Towns takes
give me the
5
Timberwolves over the whole Western
Timberwolves.
Conference.
Well, Karl Anthony Towns takes less than 15 shots a game every
And he
night,
scores
too.
26
He's
nights.
still a
wild.
monster.
He's unbelievable.
Like if Tibbs unleashed him, that'd be wild.
He can easily take off over a series if he needs
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
And
And you still got Wiggins. You still got
Wiggins and
Butler.
You
still got-
They're getting D Rose. They're literally becoming the Timberwolves.
Teague is solid.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
because he's a good passer too.
Yeah.
he's also a lockdown defender.
Also,
like-
do we really believe that Kyrie and LeBron don't like each other? Because that
I
that
don't
hug at the end
know.
seemed pretty it seemed like pretty genuine.
I don't like all this. They don't like each other sort of thing.
I don't
Unless
know
we
if
actually
Maybe it's like
know.
now that there's been a little distance between them, LeBron
Yeah.
realizes what he's missing.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's exactly.
He
what
should
I
have
don't know if it's ever been a matter of them not liking
Should
each
have
other.
realized that when Kyrie put up 40 points in the finals, like
He
7
carried
times.
him to the final
Yeah.
to win the final.
Kyrie is so good. He's such
is
a
so good.
good player.
That step back he hit over LeBron was
awesome.
that was so nice.
Yeah.
Right after LeBron
Also,
missed the shot too.
All the pictures of IT trying to guard Dirk.
Dirk.
So disrespectful.
Oh, that was funny.
I
So
can't even
mean.
tell if they're edited or not. It's so.
I
saw
don't think
one
they
that
are.
You retweeted. No, the one that you retweeted was absolutely.
I couldn't tell.
No,
honestly.
you can tell by his shoes. I was looking for everything just to make sure it really was because I felt
so
horrible for IT.
disrespectful.
The little
boy.
guy out there, but
Well, NBA is heating up. We got All-Star Weekend coming up this weekend. Should be interesting. I think the dunk contest could be a lot of fun. Donovan Mitchell, Dennis Smith Jr., Oladipo, and Nance.
People are sleeping on.
is Nance a
Oladipo.
good dunker?
Nance is an amazing dunker.
Really?
His
I
dad,
haven't watched much of him.
fun fact, his dad won the first ever dunk contest in 1984.
When
As-
Zach LaVine dunked all over the Timberwolves the other night, that was nice.
Yeah, and then Victor Oladipo almost put up a quadruple double. He had like 38, 9, and 6 steals. He dominated.
Give me the first pick. Give me Luka
I don't
Doncic.
think they're gonna get the first pick.
We're not, but we're in the top 3. I think.
Give the Nets the first pick, which
really
means the Cavs get the first pick. Oh, okay, sorry, I had a little bit of cough there.
I really hope
The
we
Cavs are-
continue this tank run.
The Cavs are gonna
and-
blow that pick 1,000%.
I really hope not.
Easily.
I don't. I hope it's not an Anthony Bennett situation or a Dion Waiter
Where
situation
is
even.
he now?
Oh, he's not playing basketball.
He
Basically,
tried a couple other teams. He still stunk.
Waiters was
Nah.
Waiters was money in Miami though.
he's been money here and there, but he gets injured. I just don't understand why the Cavs would take a 6th man with the 4th overall pick in the draft.
Waiters was the 4th overall pick.
Yeah, Cavs picked him 4th overall.
Oh, you hate to see that.
Yeah, I need to see who was picked under him, but we'll check that out off the air. For Tommy, for Jake, and for Will, I'm Rory Benatar. You just listened to Illini Drive here on WPGU 1071, brought to you by the Illinois Fighting Illini. For tickets and info, make sure to go to fightingillini.com or call 1-866-ILLINI1. Tune in tomorrow for the TNT crew for their Tuesday show of the week at 6 p.m. right here on WPGU 1071.